Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. Essentially Sports is privileged to be joined by the inaugural UFC Flyweight champion and the current 1FC Flyweight Grand Prix champion, the one and only Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson. Welcome to the show, Demetrious. It's great to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
How's everything been in the last few months with the coronavirus? Obviously, their daily activities have been scuppered due to the lockdown and the terrible situation. How's it been in Washington, where you're currently based?
For me, honestly, it's been fantastic. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm a family man, and being an athlete, been an athlete since I was, 15 years old. And I typically don't take breaks. And I think the last time I took a break from actually any athletics was my senior year of high school during track. So for me, I got 3 kids, my wife. So most of my time goes to them. So I've been hanging out with those guys, working out almost every single day with my wife at the field, hanging out with my kids, getting them into gaming. I've been gaming, working on my Twitch streams and my gaming career. So I can't complain. Obviously, it sucks to have the gyms down and I can't go train at AMC Pancreation. But other than that, the only thing I miss is just training. So, but I'm enjoying the time with my family, and I won't take that for granted.
Yes, of course, family time is obviously a boon, considering that it's one of the boons of the lockdowns. And you mentioned your gaming. Like, I've noticed that you're streaming a lot of Escape from Tarkov, and you put a poll recently of Call of Duty and Escape from Tarkov. Call of Duty won the poll. I mean, that's something that happens, but how has it been? Like, you've signed with Method Gaming recently, and Mighty Gaming has become really active ever since the lockdown happened. Can you take us through all of your streaming activities?
Yeah, absolutely. So the whole thing with the Call of Duty and Escape from Tarkov poll, that came from a buddy of mine who also streams on Twitch. He says, man, your channel's never going to grow if you keep playing Escape from Tarkov. You got to play Call of Duty. You see Max Holloway playing with Nick Mertz, Tim the Tap Man. I was like, yeah, I see him, man. But at the same time, I truly enjoy playing Escape from Tarkov. When I stream, I understand it's about making content. I understand it's about catering to the viewership. But at the same time, I don't get 8 to 9 hours to stream every single day. When the time I get the opportunity to stream, I want to play the games I get to enjoy. I just got off. I literally just got off playing Escape from Tarkov. So with that being said, I really choose Escape from Tarkov. They Call of Duty. I just believe that Escape from Tarkov is a better game. It's more it's more polished. I think it's more realistic. And then when it comes to, the whole method thing, that's unfortunate, whatever happened to those guys. And right now, I believe they're trying to rebuild the ground up. They released the 2 gentlemen who were with those allegations or whatnot. Yeah. So I'm looking to hope that they build it up from the ground up. And if the opportunity arises for me to join that team again and pick up where we left off, because we had some great stuff down the pipeline to create some great content, I'll be on board. Once you get rid of the bad apples, let's keep on creating content. Other than that, just trying to stay focused. I got something this weekend going to Los Angeles to film, looking for games with Cash Nasty, and also going to Gamer House on Vin TV. So I'm just trying to stay busy. I'm ready to get life back to normal. So just trying to stay busy.
When you talk about getting life back to normal, in addition to being an avid gamer, you are also a mixed martial artist. And you would have to continue keeping in shape for the eventual championship fight. Like, how has that training been going? You said you've been engaging in activities on the field. Apart from that, we have seen your kettlebell workouts, which look really impressive. Can you take us through how workouts have been throughout the past 3 to 4 months?
Yeah, so a lot of calisthenic workouts, pull-ups, push-ups, squats, long distance running. I'm a long distance runner. I ran the mile, 2 mile in high school, ran half marathons. So I've always had great cardio. So I've been really focused on that, but it's pretty bad on your knees and your hips and your shins. So that's the only downfall for running long distance. And right now, my goal, I've been really trying to work on my 40-yard dash, trying to get in the high 4s. Right now, I'm at a 5.08. So just trying to stay athletic. I think at the end of the day, the thing that sucks about COVID-19 is that I'm 33 years old. I'm only going to get older, right? As you get older, your testosterone goes away. You're not as fast. And I realize that. I realize that's a reality. It's just the way our bodies are built genetically. So for me, I'm just focusing on being athletic. And as long as I keep this athletic body going as long as I can, then I think, when COVID goes away and when we're able to get back to fighting where I'm 34, 35, 36, who knows? I'm way ahead if I would just sat on my butt all day. And I feel like doing the 40-yard dash is probably one of the most explosive things you
Of
can
course.
do in a short amount of distance. So that's literally what I'm going to focus on, is just being athletic.
It's like doing the best with what you can do considering the situation. Is that it?
Pretty much, yeah. All the gyms are closed. Me and my wife, we're literally starting to collect weights. Right now, obviously once COVID-19 hit, everybody was sold out. It was like, oh, we can't keep up with demand, so we're all sold out. So we're slowly trying to grab pieces of equipment that way. If this virus doesn't go away, or if another virus comes around, we're way more prepared this time.
Of course, this is a launch, the thing that's faced in all over. But you were preparing for your match in April at Infinity One against Adriano Moraes. You earned the title shot on the back of your Grand Prix win. Mm-hmm. Now, were you going at full tilt for the preparations before it got postponed and eventually cancelled?
Absolutely. We're in full force, feeling great. I even had stitches. I got headbutted, so I had stitches during training and got that sewed up and continued to train. So we're ready to go full force.
Is there a sense of frustration at the delays in the fight, or do you think that's a given considering the scene that the world is going through at present?
At the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, I was very frustrated because at the end of the day, I'm an athlete, right? And that's the only way, us athletes make money is when we compete. And my window of opportunity is closing. I'm 33, gonna be 34 here, in 9 days. So I know my time is coming to an end. So for me, I want to be as active as possible. That way, when I'm ready to retire, I'm good to go. So that was probably the most frustrating about the situation. But after things kept going on, how bad the virus got, I was like, you know what? It is what it is. I got other things I can be working on. I can be working on my transition out of mixed martial arts, working on my gaming career.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to put my full attention to that. And also with my kids, their school got locked down. So now they're doing homeschool. So a lot of my attention went to make sure we're homeschooling the kids. This year, they're going to be homeschooled for the year 2021. So that's another thing
it's another challenge.
Yeah, it's another challenge. So for me, I have other challenges than mixed martial arts on my plate right now. So when people are like, man, are you excited to get back to fight? I'm like, yeah, I'm excited when I have the opportunity to, but it's not a top priority for me right now. It's my children are my top priority. So it's my wife, and then comes gaming, and then so forth.
And eventually, when you resume one of the priorities in your life, which of course is fighting, it's going to be the longest that you have ever been away from active competition ever since turning professional. Like your last longest break from competing was between the John Dodson fight in 2015 and the first Henry Cejudo fight. That was a 7.5-month gap. Now you last competed in November, and it's almost August. We are almost 9 months and counting since you last competed. And also, when you step into the competition again, it's going to be 8 years since Demetrious Johnson was a challenger. How do you prepare for such a fight with such a long gap and such a long time since you were a challenger? What's the different sort of aspects you would condition yourself in before heading into competition?
Well, I think in the day, it's all about mentality and your mental capacity. For me, I always see myself as a challenger. Even when I was defending my belts, for 6 years straight, I always saw myself as a challenger. The only difference between a challenger and a champion is the challenger comes out first and the champion comes out second. That's about it. From my opinion. And, the long layoffs, they're hard, but I'm doing my best to stay active. I think this would probably be the most hardest layoff coming up because a lot of gyms are still open, right? Like, America Top Team's still open in Florida.
Yes, they're still open.
There's many gyms that are still open. AMC is not open. So one of the gyms I also do train at is the YMCA. YMCA is closed. So I haven't swam in, I think, since February. That's one of my key workouts.
For the cardio, right?
What's that?
For the cardio, the swimming is useful, right?
It's used for cardio and active recovery.
Yes.
I haven't punch kicked, grappled since February. So, who knows how long it's going to be for me to be able to get back to punching and kicking and grappling. But let's say, gyms don't open back up till, next February. It'll be one full year of no contact in mixed martial arts in that realm whatsoever. Well, there's other athletes out there who are doing it, but at the end of the day, I'm okay with it, right? This is part of my life. This is the route I chose, and I'm totally happy and content with it because I will never get this time back with my children. Waking up every day with them, cooking them breakfast, washing dishes, doing homeschool with them, playing Fortnite with them. I'm never gonna get this time back. So this time right here, it's valuable, and I'm enjoying it one bit. Like when people are like, "Man, I hated COVID-19," I'm like, y'all had the wrong mindset. That's what you guys did.
Yes. It's like Demetrious Johnson, you're making the best of what you have and looking at the silver lining, even in this dark cloud. However, you eventually would have one eye on your opponent, even with living your life on your own terms. And Moraes is someone who has lost just 3 times in his professional career, and all 3 have been split decision losses. Now, do you see him as the biggest challenge you will encounter in your career?
I think he brings certain challenges to my career that I haven't faced before. He's a big guy. He's pretty tough in a weight class. He's got great, phenomenal grappling. But every opponent's tough, you know. I think at the end of the day, I think power is more dangerous than slick grappling, in my opinion. You know, when you find a guy like John Dotson, all he has to do is touch you once, and it's lights out. You know what I mean? I think power is more scary. It's going to be more aware of how good he is at grappling, which I totally respect. And, you know, he's had some great fights with J.H. Eustaquio, and styles makes fight. You know, you look at the Adrian Moraes versus J.H. Eustaquio fight 1, 2, and 3. He out-grappled him, you know what I mean? J.H. did phenomenal on the feet, and then you look how J.H. did against a great striker like Yuya Wakamatsu. He got lit out. He got lit up. You know, Yuya Wakamatsu is very, very athletic. So I think, you know, my skill set going against Adrian Moraes, I think I match up very well for him. And I can't wait to see what happens.
Moraes, you have praised his grappling skills. However, he has come out and said that he is going to be looking for a beautiful KO when he faces you in the fight. What do you make of that in terms of preparing for him, considering that he has not won a knockout for the last 5 to 6 years?
Well, I've been in this sport for a very long time, and I've heard that from guys who have more power than he does. I think at the end of the day, you know, him looking that way, I would assume, I mean, there's no secret that he's longer than me, bigger than me. So he could sit back and, you know, wait for me to cross distance and look for the knockout shot. And there's many ways, you know, you can play this fight. But at the end of the day, I've heard this so many times from Yuya Wakamatsu, from John Dotson, from the list just goes on. I've been fighting for a long time. So for me, it's nothing new. I mean, I've been here.
Tried into your head the fight. Is that it?
What's that?
They always try to get into your head before the fight by trying to predict what will happen.
Maybe, and it's probably just him, you know, trying to, you know, create some noise or wave, you know. So, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. A lot of people say the exact same thing. Like, I'm looking for a beautiful knockout, I'm gonna knock him out. You know what? If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, you know, it doesn't. But I've been in this sport for a long time. I mean, I'm fucking 30. I'm 33, 34 years old. I don't care what people say about me.
Also, a decade in the sport really changes the perspective regarding what the opponents and other people think. But has there been any date as to when this fight might happen? Considering it was April and now one is back, but there's no mention of when the flyweight belt will be on the line.
Yeah, I think right now with One Championship being back, you know, they've done their first fight back in Thailand. It went beautiful. You know, Rod Tang went out to defending his belt. Beautiful performance. And I think there's still some more hurdles we need to go through when it comes to international traveling. Obviously, all the guys who are fighting on those cards are in that country. You know, Thailand. You had a lot of Thai fighters. You had a lot of Thai fighters on that card. So I think it worked out that way. But I think for international traveling, the last thing they want to have happen is you're seeing guys all the time pop up with COVID-19 who are going to Vegas to fight on Dana White's Contender Series, to Island. I mean, it happens. You know what I mean? Like Mike Brown, Jorge Masvidal's coach, tested positive for coronavirus, and that's his coach. So all it takes is one person to get over there to, you know, Singapore or Japan or China, and they slip through the cracks, which, hopefully they don't, and the virus is back up and running again. So I think One Championship is trying to do it nice and right and slow. And when they get it right, in my phone, the phone call comes and the gyms will back up, then we'll get back to work.
Now, having held the flyweight title in the UFC for so many years and having competed at one as well, you have dominated in two different promotions in two different continents. What would you say are the major differences in the UFC and one in terms of the audience or the ring and the cage, anything you have seen different?
I would say the only difference is that for me, I like my walkout music. I like rap. I like rap cussing, profanity, over in Japan and Asia. That doesn't fly because, they're strict television. That's the one thing I really notice. Other than that, obviously One Championship has a great walkout performance. You get your own kind of, it reminds me of the Prix Dream Days. The fans are amazing over there, especially in Japan. Truly love my Japan fans. And then obviously the culture difference, now, when I was in the UFC, it was all about mixed martial arts. You're fighting with the best mixed martial arts in the world. Over One Championship, you're fighting with the best, kickboxers, Muay Thai, mixed martial artists, submission grapplers, and you're also fighting in a cage or a ring. So there's a lot more dynamic over One Championship than there is in the UFC because they're just focused on mixed martial arts. So one's focused on all martial arts.
What have been the differences? You have competed for a large part of your career in a cage and having to transition to a ring. Like, would there be any differences in your fight style or approach in the match and before the match?
I thought there would be, but when I got ready to fight Tatsumi Wada, I trained in a ring. I trained more in a ring than I do in a cage, but I compete in a cage more than training in a ring, if that makes sense. So honestly, it's just different. There's no way you can prepare for it. When you spend most of your pretty much 99.99% of your career in a cage, competing in a cage, you're still going to have that feeling, that process of getting into a ring. Eddie Alvarez, he's fought in a ring back in Dream. So he's kind of familiar. Same thing, my teammate Bibiano. A lot of my training friends and training partners, they grew up in Dream, fighting in Dream and Pride. So they're able to acclimate to that.
Yep. So, and also, as you said, one is based on culture and they promote the values of integrity, discipline, honesty, humility, and all. Like, it's averse to trash talking. This is something you've been an advocate of throughout your career. Now, do you think trash talking is a vital selling point of a fight, or fights can be sold purely in terms of martial arts? And if so, do you think it should be encouraged or discouraged accordingly?
I think at the end of the day, it comes down, my true gut feeling is that for me, I always stay humble, having humility. You can win, you can lose fights. And I think that mindset comes from you have to have an end goal in your career. In mixed martial arts, football, basketball, NBA, NHL, anything you do, you have to have an end goal. And as long as you are staying focused on that end goal, whether you win, lose, draw, get knocked out, submit him, knock him out, whatever, nothing else should matter. Everything else is just part of the game, right?
Yeah.
So for me, that's always been my mindset. Nothing's going to deter me from my end game goal. Now, when it comes to people who want to, talk trash and make more money, there's people out there, in North America, people want to have conflict. They want to have trash talking. And that's totally fine. Athletes can go that way because if a guy talks trash, he's going to make, an extra $4 million, $5 million. It's just the way it is. I mean, the guy's going to do the exact same thing, go in there and fight. So why not make an extra $4 or $5 million in doing it, right? Yeah. So for me, I have, as a business mindset, have the athlete talk trash if they want to. Do I encourage it? No. But if that's what you're trying to get is want more eyeballs, then go ahead and do it. So I go back and forth. As me being an athlete, I'm not about it, like if a guy says he's going to knock me out, I'm like, okay, good job. If you do, kudos. If you don't, oh, well, you fucked up. So that's just how I am. That's just like my personality.
Okay. And also at one championship, the athletes compete at their walking weight rather than their weight cut. Now, do you feel that makes a major difference in terms of your preparations for it?
Absolutely. I mean, if I had the opportunity to fight 125 pounds again, I wouldn't do it. I'm I say I'm 33 years old. I'm not gonna put that stress, that wear and tear on my body. Like I wouldn't do it. So for me, you know, I do have to cut a little. I don't really have to cut a little weight. I mean, when I was cutting the 125, I was cutting like, you know, probably 15 pounds. Now I'm only cutting like maybe three or 2 pounds. So I think a lot of guys, you see a lot of bigger guys. I feel like I see a lot of bigger guys at 135, but who knows?
And has there been any sort of change in how you step into the ring? You feel like more energized, or is there more power behind the shots, considering that there hasn't been the rigor of a weight cut and the regaining of the water weight in the few hours before the fight?
I think the best time I ever felt fighting over in Asia was when I fought on American time zone. You know, going over to Asia, I give myself at least 10 to 11 days to acclimate. Yeah. But even then, it's still a little tough. But because it's just the time zone, it's yes. I've seen athletes do it. I've seen the Japanese athletes do it all the time in the UFC, and I can see it takes a huge hit on their performance. So the last time I got to fight in one championship against Denny Kingdad on the TNT time zone, that's when I felt my best. Like I felt powerful, fast, aware. I just felt great. Even my coach, he goes, "That's how you usually look when you fight." And I was like, "Yeah, because I'm fighting at normal times. I'm not fighting at like 3 a.m. in the morning." But like I said, this is my last part of my career, so I'm just enjoying it and, you know, getting used to it and competing as being an athlete.
Now, you've been an athlete with one for over a year now, and you've obviously seen a host of the other athletes. Who do you think has the potential to become a global superstar?
I mean, it's so hard to say that, because for me, when I look at that, this is how I look at it. We all are athletes. We all do the same thing. We all punch. We all kick. We all knee. We all do the same thing. You know, you look at everybody's Instagram, they're all doing the same thing. Even me, I'm doing the same thing. I'm, you know, working out, throwing kettlebells, all that stuff. So I think it's going to come out to what athletes can branch out into other things. Gaming, I got a Twitch channel, I got a YouTube channel. You know, I'm also in UFC 4. And I'm not even in the UFC anymore. So I feel like it's whatever athlete can build their brand outside of what they're known for. For me, you know, when I see athletes who kick and punch and all that stuff, I'm like, you close your eyes, look at another guy, he's doing the same thing. You close your eyes, look over here, he's doing the same thing. So I think it comes down to like, what are the athletes doing that separates them from the other? That's my personal opinion. So for me, it's very hard to say, because I don't see what the other athletes are passionate about. That's the way I think he's passionate about fishing. He's passionate about his family. You know, Martin Nguyen, same thing. But he's also into gaming. So, you know, if he really takes a hold of his gaming career and start, you know, pushing out content in the Call of Duty Modern Warfare, doing that stuff, showing the other side of himself, instead of being a badass fighter, then I can see him build his brand in a different area than just mixed martial arts, because you only can build it up so far in mixed martial arts. Like that's my personal opinion. Until you start, you look at Conor McGregor, he's got his whiskey now. You know, you look at Dwayne Johnson, actor. Now he just bought XFL, and then he's also an actor. So he's building his brand even bigger. Kevin Hart. Those are the guys I look at. Like, I look at those guys, and those are the guys like I need to get on their level where I'm like, okay, I got gaming, I got other things coming out of the pipeline. That's all separate from mixed martial arts.
Deveson Figueiredo is currently the UFC Flyweight champion, and after the fight, you posted a tweet supporting Joseph Benavidez. Now, do you think Benavidez's chances are done at the gold, and is Figueiredo someone who is too powerful for flyweights?
I don't think he's too powerful for flyweights. He fought Jussier Formiga, and Formiga beat him. And Joseph Benavidez knocked out Formiga 2 times. So, like I said, it's styles that makes fights. And the reason why I showed Joseph love, I know how bad Joseph wants to be a champion. I know how bad he wants to be champion. But at the end of the day, that's not the end goal. That's not the end game goal. The end game goal is to be able to retire and be able to have, you know, something to show for it, right? There's so many guys who compete in mixed martial arts, and when they're done, and they've had phenomenal careers, and when they're done, they have nothing to show for it. They have nothing to show for it. They have no investment, no house, no retirement. They're like, and for me, that's why I sent that message out to Joseph. And I was like, Joseph, like, you're still a legend. You know, just because you never wore a gold around your waist, you're still a legend. You know, let's say Figueiredo goes out there and loses the belt, which I don't think he is. He's going to lose the belt. People are going to remember Joseph Benavidez more than they remember the champion. People, like, Uriah Faber is going to be one of the most successful bantamweights in the world, and he's never wore gold because he's a fucking legend. And he was smart in his career and how he carried himself and how cool he was. He's got other stuff that's built in his career. So that's why I say Joseph's a legend, man. I like Joseph. He's always been kind to me, and that's no disrespect to Figueiredo. He's a phenomenal champion, powerful guy, very athletic, very skilled, not even the stand-up, but also in the grappling. But, you know, I know Joseph for a very long time, and I don't want him to put his head down that he might not never get a chance to be champion, because it's not always about being a champion.
Yes, that's true. And Henry Cejudo has called you the MMA GOAT, and he has retired from the UFC. Do you see the possibility of him ever making a return? And if he does return, would you be open to a trilogy fight against him?
Well, obviously, Henry Cejudo is retired, and I think he's waiting for the right amount of money to bring him out of retirement. And I totally understand why he retired. He's like, you know, like I said, everybody has a different end goal, right? So his end goal, he might have reached it. He was like, flyweight champion, beat the MMA GOAT, beat the best bantamweight champion of all time, Dominic Cruz. So what's left? Like, what else am I supposed to do? Right? Like, you guys are paying me more money? Okay, I'll stay and fight. But if you guys aren't paying more money, then I'll just go do something else. So I can understand where he's coming from. You know, now he's like, you know, I'll come back and fight Alex Volkanovski for the featherweight belt. So that's something he's like, I understand what he's trying to do. He's either trying to get more money, or he's trying to do stuff that gets him excited. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just like GSP. GSP's like, I was a welterweight champion. I was a middleweight champion. But, you know, I don't care to do anything else. But if Khabib Nurmagomedov wants to fight, that might interest me. See, these guys get in a place where they get to pick and choose what they want to do instead of like, oh, I have to fight. That makes sense.
Yeah. Now, Henry beat you, and then he moved up and won the belt over there. And you fought at bantamweight in your early days in the UFC. Has moving up a weight class at one championship ever crossed your mind?
To 145?
Yes, to the bantamweight.
Yeah, it's crossed my mind, but the champion up there is Viviano Fernandez, and I have no interest whatsoever fighting my friend, coach, whatsoever. So for me, if I move to 145, it would just me being lazy, not when I have to cut weight. But it's crossed my mind. But no, just if it happens, it happens.
So it's not really on the agenda. And if you win the flyweight belt against Moraes, you would have achieved a title in another promotion and virtually everything that there is to achieve. And considering that you mentioned your interest in gaming, how many more years do you see yourself competing at the top of your game as a martial artist?
I'm I'm going to be 34, so I might go to 30, 38, 4 more years maybe. We'll see. It all is not cooperating with me, and you know, able to push through. Then I'll just call it like, all right, we done. Let's go do something else. Like, that's how I've always viewed my career. Something else, we do it.
And you're saying you're going to be around for another 4 years. Is there a possibility that you might change your promotion again, or is one championship the last promotion you will be part of?
No. One championship will be the last promotion I'll be part of. Like, if everything goes as part of the plan, you know, me just, and what I mean by part of the plan is me just staying healthy. As long as I stay healthy, then once it's time for me to hang him up, I'm good. Like, once I'm done, I don't want to come back. Like, you see the athletes who quit and then they come back because they miss it. When I'm done, I have so much I can do, you know, with just my time with my family, my kids, gaming. I think I'll be ready to hang him up.
And now we move on to some questions from the fans. One of them is the best moment in your career. What would you rate as the best moment in your career?
I would probably say defending the belt for 11th time in the UFC, landing that mighty whiz bar. The reason why I say that is because there's people who've been watching mixed martial arts since the Dawn Fridays, since Horace Gracie days. And for me to pull out a submission like that, and people who've never seen it before, I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, it's in a game. People still talk about it this day. And that was like, what, 3 or 4 years ago? And it's still the best submission of all time. I'm like, thanks. I mean, I do it all the time in the gym, and I'm just trying to defend my belt. So I think that stuff right there, that's what's kind of made me like a legend status that people give me. So I'll probably say that defense and that submission.
And what would be the one fight if you had the chance to have a duo with? Which one would you pick?
Ooh, probably Dominic Cruz. I think that would be one I would love to do over because he's so good at his footwork. He has different angles. I respect him so much. He sees the game differently. He has no ego. He's very straightforward. So I think I would enjoy that chess match with him again if we were ever to redo that. I think it'd be a fun fight.
It would be a fun fight. And one last question is that Demetrious Johnson is one of the greatest of all times. But who would feature in the GOAT's Mount Rushmore of MMA fighters, with the catch being that you cannot feature in your own Mount Rushmore?
Oh, man. Well, it had to be John Jones. I had to put him up there, even though people would disagree with all his allegations. But John Jones, I've seen the way he moves. I've seen he's complete athlete, complete fighter. How many people going to Mount Rushmore?
4. A total of 4.
You still there? All right, we there?
Yep, we're there. Yep. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Thank you.
We were discussing about your Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. How many people go on Mount Rushmore?
We have 4 can feature on Mount Rushmore.
Okay, so I'll give it to John Jones. I'll give it to, I think, Bibiano Fernandez. I think he's done a lot in the sport. Even though he hasn't fought over in North America, I think he would have been a UFC champion. I truly believe that. I think his grappling's way too good. His stand-up is good. He hits hard. So I think he'll be on Mount Rushmore. A lot of people want to probably, I'll say Gegard Mousasi. When he's on, he's on. I think he's one of my favorite to watch when he's on. When he's not lazy and he wants to fight, I think he always shows up.
Okay.
And then 4th, man. Oh God, man, it's hard. I would say Anlong Song. I think if he ever got a chance to fight in North America, I think he would do very well. I mean, he did fight in Bellator, and he's had some kind of loss. He had a couple losses in Bellator, I believe. I think this Anlong Song with Henry Hooft, the way he's been fighting, I think he would do very well in North America. So for me, I have to see, John Jones. He's beat fucking everybody. I mean,
yes.
There has been one guy who's came close to being John Jones. With his length, his skill set, athletic ability, I just think, he's good. Even GSP could be up there too, but I would have loved to see GSP fight more. You know what I mean? I would have loved to see him compete more. I mean, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Actually, can I change my Rushmore?
It's up to you, Demetrious. It's all yours.
I'm gonna push Musashi to the side. I'm gonna throw Khabib in there. I think Khabib is probably one of the best to do it. Especially he's undefeated. He's fought the best of the best. Obviously, I would love to see him compete more, but his injuries plagued him in a part of his career.
Yes.
Lane, he's very humble. I love that about him. So, yeah, that's what I'm trying. You got Jones, Khabib, Bibiano, and who was the 4th I said? I forgot the 4th.
That's how tricky it is, actually.
Yeah.
What would you say is the inspiration behind the nickname Mighty Mouse? What prompted you to adopt that moniker?
Well, my nickname again was Black Ice because I was slick, but then nobody liked it. So my coach gave me the nickname Mighty Mouse with my structure, skin tone, ears. I love superheroes. It just worked out to be, my coach named me, one of my old coaches and friend named me Mighty Mouse. I came out to my fight as Mighty Mouse and everybody loved it.
And it just stuck throughout your career?
Just stuck throughout the career. Everybody loved it.
Okay, and that's all we've got time for today. Thank you so much for chatting with us, Demetrious, and taking time out of your busy schedule. We hope to see you back in action at one championship soon, but we're not really complaining considering that we get to see a lot of your streaming activities.
Yep. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it, man. I apologize for the yawn. I apologize for the internet connection, but we got it done. You guys have a wonderful night, and thank you to all my Indian fans.
Thank you so much, Demetrious.
Thank you.
Thank you.